Hello, everyone. This is Kristie Mathews, and today I have a very special guest, Carrie Bannigan from the hot Atlanta area. So, Carrie, thank you so much for being here. It's so good to have you, and thank you. Appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Everything okay with you? Doing good?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. Happy day today for you. Thanks so much, Kristie. This is an honor to actually be here and be able to share with you today and speak to everyone around. So I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual. I'm very grateful to have you here. So, Carrie, tell me a little bit about you and why you're building a business online, and which is how we've met. And she's just fabulous. You're going to get some great information here, I'm sure.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we did. It's so crazy to think back that we met like online, that we finally just met in person. We see each other on camera, but you get that bond with each other, right? Even through the Zoom calls and videos and stuff. But so I am actually a full-time employee, if you will. I work in the IT consulting world, and it's a lot of fun because I get to be the liaison between a business and a developer. And I get to help things come to life. I get to test and break things. And so it's a lot of fun, and it's the retail world. So it's interesting to see the distribution centers, if you will, where all of our shirts and all of our stuff ships out to the store. Because previously I was just a consumer, right? You go into the store, you find a blouse, you find a pair of pants. You never really think, where does this come from? So that's actually the world that I'm in now. And it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it. But at the same time, there are those restrictions around working full time, right? You have to put in your vacation request, you have to utilize your sick time properly. And that was one of the draws to actually becoming my own boss. You can go anywhere you want as long as you have an internet connection, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can even go to a different country. As long as you have that internet connection, you can still service your audience. And just that freedom of, I'm sick and I don't feel like working today. I don't have to worry about if I have the hours, or just that time freedom, the financial freedom that comes along with it, and being your own boss. So those are some of the reasons that I wanted to start building on the side. And I'm very thankful for my full-time job, because guys, the reality of it is, sometimes we need that full-time income to help support our entrepreneurship until we get where we need to be, right? So I'm super blessed to have this job and also have that flexibility after I get home to work 2 hours, work 10 hours, whatever I want to do in my business. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, I just moved to hot Atlanta, I like to call it. I came from Vegas, so it's super humid. It's so hot. These curls are only staying because I'm inside. I haven't stepped outside yet. So it's been quite the change for sure.
That's great. And you mentioned something really important, because you're using your job, your income from the day to fund your dreams for the future. And by the way, you mentioned being able to work anywhere. I mean, we were in Austin this last weekend, and I saw your videos. You were still, speaking to your audience, providing value while you were in Austin, Texas, because as you say, you had an internet connection, and it was done in between sessions, and people were none the wiser. They were just getting the content from you, and that's the most important thing. It was a good point that you mentioned that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, guys, sometimes when you go full into entrepreneurship, you really need to manage your money even more so. And with having that full-time job, I've really embraced it. If I want an extra course to help build my skills, then that's something that full-time job allows right now, right? It's a little bit more stability, but yeah, definitely looking forward to making that transition full-time over. And Yeah, you can do it anywhere in the world. I mean, we've got a couple of friends who just did a 3-month tour in South
Right.
America. They just came from Nicaragua, and they were providing a ton of value. So it's amazing the flexibility and freedom you have as an entrepreneur, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's amazing, especially in this space.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be talking about some new technology today. It's a new messenger mail system, and it's pretty cool. And there
Mm,
are a lot of them out there, but this one in particular is something that Facebook has, I'm not going to say endorsed, but they've embraced. They've allowed this company's developers to have kind of an inroads with Facebook, for lack of a better term, so that it's kind of like one of their preferred providers, although Facebook doesn't really, support anybody entirely in and of itself. But the system's called ManyChat.
mhm.
And it's, I think this technology, and you'll probably agree, Carrie, is probably going to be very prevalent by the end of this year, definitely in the next year, as being one of the primary ways of staying in touch with prospects and customers.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
so what is ManyChat? I mean, what do for you use it all the time? I mean, can you explain to our viewers exactly what it is?
Yeah, for sure. So you're so right, Kristie. I'm really happy that Facebook has embraced this program. Like you said, Facebook can be tricky, guys,
Yeah.
and you really have to go with what they are putting out there and allowing you to do on Facebook. If you guys haven't noticed, if you ever try to kind of go around the system with Facebook, your videos mysteriously disappear, and
Right.
it's really good that they have locked arms with this program called ManyChat, and they're allowing users to use it in various ways. So basically, ManyChat is the program name to be able to create what is called a messenger bot. And like Kristie pointed out, there are many of them out there. However, this one has really taken the world by storm. It's so easy to use. Facebook is allowing it, and that is really rare when it comes to Facebook.
Right.
So ManyChat is it's just the name of the program where you create what is called a messenger bot. So I think a lot of people have been thinking that ManyChat is the bot. So it's really just the program. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. When you think about it, I guess maybe one of the ones we were just talking about is Filmora. Filmora is a program, but you make a video, right? So I guess that's kind of what I
Okay.
compare it to. So yeah, if you search ManyChat, then it's purely the program you use to make these.
So what is a bot, a messenger bot?
Yeah, they're cool. I love messenger
They are
bots.
cool.
So let's see, let me back up just a minute and say, when you're building your business, one of the biggest things you want to make sure you're doing for your audience is you want to be present.
Right.
And I know this all too well when you have a full-time job, or even, guys, when you're a stay-at-home mom. To me, that is a full-time job.
Aren't you kidding?
Kristie, you are very involved with your parents and you take care of them. That to me is a full-time job,
It is.
right? So when it comes to talking to your customer, you want to make sure that you are setting the expectation that I may not be available 24/7, but the messenger bot, what it allows you to do is kind of be available 24/7. You can strategically place this messenger bot in different areas, such as a website, a landing page even on Twitter, you can put something, and that bot is going to essentially pretend like it is you. And it's going to talk to your customers based on what they select. And, it may sound like I am talking Greek, but if you can find one and go through the sequence, you will see that it is a lot of fun. Because it's basically answering the questions that your users or your customer base, your audience may have, And it's doing it, it's almost like a frequently asked questions section, right?
Okay.
You go to a frequently asked questions section. Can I get a refund? How long does this take? Do I have to have a Google account? All of these things, it's very bland, right? It's just
Right,
text.
right.
Well, what a messenger bot does is it brings it all to life. You can talk about anything that you want. You can teach them how to apply eyeshadow if you want, if you're in the makeup industry. You can give, health and wellness tips. For realtors, they can give out a checklist for people who are looking for their first home. There's so many things that you can do, and it's basically automated, which
Okay.
really helps you as an entrepreneur.
So that's pretty cool. So is there a limit on how many, bots can be put? Let me see if I can make this more clear. Let's say that that somebody visits the website
Mhm.
and there's a call to action, click here.
Mhm.
And would that then theoretically be able to take them to a new bot
Mhm.
that will start a dialogue with them? And go ahead.
Um, yeah, you know what? You can get very intricate when it comes to the bots based on a response. So let me give you a basic example. Let's say that we go to your website and you say, hey, if you'd like to know more about XYZ, click here and I'll give you the information in Facebook Messenger. Okay.
Okay.
So now you've taken that audience from a website and you've brought them to Facebook, which is super important for open rates. But when you get into the Messenger bot, you definitely want to deliver what it was you had promised. If it was, 7 free tips, if it was whatever
Wow.
you're taking them for, okay? Now, after that, you can ask them, here's an example. Would you like to be notified when I do a Facebook Live? Yes or
Wow.
no?
Wow.
If they say yes, now they can go on a whole new bot or a whole new list, if you will. And now when you go live, that audience that said yes can be notified, hey, I'm going live in 15 minutes. I'd love for you to come and join me. And that's it. And that's an automated message that you can send out as a broadcast. So to answer your question, yeah, that's a very high level basic explanation, if you will. You can get very intricate based on, do you want to be on my newsletter? Do you want more tips? Would you like to attend a webinar? People who attend webinars, that's a brand new list. Hey, did you get value? What else can I do for you? You can get very intricate in these, and that's where I like to have a lot of fun with that for sure.
So you've mentioned list. So would this be very similar to what we as marketers have been using for a long time as an autoresponder list, like, with some of the big ones like MailChimp, Aweber, or Get Response? Is that something similar to that?
It is. It is. I would call it an exact comparison
Okay.
because it is an autoresponder. It is a method to send out a broadcast, right? Which a lot of us entrepreneurs will do. You can also use it as a legacy series. I think that's what it's called, right? Is it a legacy series?
Right. Right.
Right. So over the next 5 days, I'm going to be giving you a tip every day on what you should be looking for as a new entrepreneur,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So on day one, and then what you will want to do is condition your audience. Okay, make sure you come back tomorrow. I'm going to deliver a fresh new tip tomorrow to XYZ, right?
Wow.
So it's exactly like it. Now, two things to note. While the open rates for the messenger bot versus an autoresponder are out of this world,
I was wondering about that.
yeah, the open rate for this messenger bot and for ManyChat, if you will, is anywhere between, they're seeing open rates between 90 and 97%.
Wow. Wow.
So it's if you have ever looked at your email autoresponder, I don't know about you, but sometimes my open rates are not even over 10%,
Right.
right?
Right. It's true.
People have so much junk mail coming.
Yes.
It depends on your subject line. It depends on even who you are sending it as, right? Because sometimes I'm like, ugh, Bed Bath & Beyond, again, you're having another
Yes.
sale. No.
Yes.
Right? So I'll automatically delete it because I don't want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Right.
So there's so much that goes into the email open rates now with your audience. And while ManyChat and these messenger bots are seeing those open percentage rates, keep in mind it's not a replacement, okay? What I don't want people to forget is you don't want to drop your email list entirely, because we all know that Mark Z loves to keep us on our toes when it comes to Facebook.
Right.
He's constantly updating something. So one word of caution for all of you that are watching right now: embrace this. Absolutely. Embrace ManyChat, but do not let your email list fall to the wayside, because if ManyChat and Facebook, if they have a fight and they break up and now we can't use it, you have lost all of that. Okay. And there is a way inside ManyChat. They are working on a way to tie that back to your email list. So they kind of go hand in hand. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It is for sure.
Well, and you just mentioned a good point. I mean, I know that you've talked about it. I tell, people that follow me too, is that there's only two things that you own on the internet, and that is, one, your blog, if you have it hosted yourself, and your list. And this is something else that you don't own, but just like everything else we're doing on the social media platforms, if you behave yourself and you stay within the guidelines, you're generally okay. But gosh, the thought of maybe them not being happy with this provider anymore and losing all of that contact. That's a good point, Carrie. Very good point. So, I'm kind of seeing the light here, but maybe you can explain a little bit more about why would a marketer need a messenger bot?
Well, that's a really good question. Why would a marketer need a messenger bot? Guys, you can go without it. Absolutely, you can. But I feel that people want instant gratification nowadays. Okay. And while I am huge into conditioning my audience to say, you know what, I work from 9 to 5, you won't be able to reach me because I need to make sure I'm paying attention and focusing on my full-time job, right?
Right.
However, in the same token, there are a lot of things that you can animate that will allow them to speak with you, if you will, or get the information they need. If you look at your business, I know I go back to makeup. I don't know why. I'm not in makeup, but between that and health and wellness and realtor, I float around. But do you really need to be in front of every single person to teach them how to apply, to teach them a skincare routine, to teach every single brand new home buyer what to look for in a realtor agency? Do you need to be face-to-face like Kristie and I are right now? No, you don't, right? There are a lot of things you can automate. Now, if you can give your customer that instant gratification, if you can give them that information that they need right now, then that is huge as an entrepreneur, because you'll see when they come into your bot, and then after you get off of work or after you're done doing whatever it is, even after vacation, right? Think about it. If you shut yourself off from social media entirely for 1 week and go on vacation and just enjoy, I know like everybody's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. You can have these automated tools running for you in the background. And that is huge, because if your customer base can't get a hold of you, then, they're like, I don't know if I want to work with this person. How much interaction will we really have? So it's huge to have that information readily available and easy for your audience. If you think of a website, a lot of us may think that the tabs across the top or the side, or however you have your website, a lot of us may think, well, Work with Carrie B is right here. They'll see that, right? They'll click on it. the truth of it is, guys, people get distracted.
That's
The
true.
kids come in, they accidentally close it, and they're like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll go back later when I'm done. Windows 10 does that automatic restart,
Yes.
right? And so now they've lost everything.
Right.
So if
Right.
you have something that pops up in front of them and says, hey, I'd love to chat with you more, that is going to grab their attention and give them what they need automatically. So, I mean, that's a couple of reasons why I think that this messenger bot is really important. It's cutting edge. Everybody's jumping on. So why not be one of the first, right?
Exactly. And I think you touched on something very important, is that, Facebook is a website, and it seems to be probably one of the most popular websites in the world. So I would imagine that Facebook's goals is to keep people on their website as long as possible. And so having this bot, correct me if I'm wrong, it is only enhances, maybe this is why Facebook likes this relationship, because it does keep them in the Facebook platform. And then I guess the trade-off would be to the marketer, that they have that interaction with people who are always going to the Facebook website, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
That's huge.
Yeah, huge. Facebook wants people to stay on Facebook. In fact, if you look at a Facebook ad, the ads that keep you on Facebook perform better, or I don't say perform better. Let me take that back. They are maybe endorse is a better word. They're shown in front of more people willingly by Facebook because you're keeping them on Facebook. Wow. So if I'm sending them to an outside source, especially if I want to send them to not Facebook, like YouTube, or I want to send them to Twitter, Facebook is going to kind of bring that down a little bit on who it's willing to show that ad to. If you keep them on Facebook, then they're going to willingly show that ad to more people for you. So that is a really good point. Yes.
So if you ran an ad within Facebook, for instance, and you're sending them to a ManyChat bot, then you are in effect keeping them on Facebook. Is that true?
That is correct. So they work integrated together, and the bot is actually in the Facebook Messenger. So that's where all the activity happens. You're building the bot on the ManyChat platform, but everything is happening in the Messenger. And that's why the open rates are as high as they are, because people want to open their Messenger. And some people want to clear the notification, but when they go in, that's where it's your job as an entrepreneur, or if you hire somebody to build one of these for you, putting personality into these bots, it helps. Like, it engages the user. If you have somebody who's funny or witty, or, just anything, like, I'm a kid at heart. So if I can tell you like a popsicle joke, and like it makes you laugh, to me that's fun. I like that. It's engaging. You can put so much personality into these bots, or you can come on yourself and do a video like we're doing and really educate your audience. There's so much flexibility with it. So it's all occurring there in your Messenger, and that's why, if you run an ad and ask your audience, hey, click here, I'll deliver the information to you in your Messenger, it's going straight into Facebook Messenger, and now you can chat with them very easily. So it's huge. It is.
So another question, does the ManyChat response, okay, somebody clicks on that ManyChat Facebook interface, then sends a message back, does that bypass that message request section that we all as marketers have issues with?
That's a really good question. Now, what I have seen is, yes, it does, but it's also because it's coming from a business page. Now, in order to have ManyChat, and you know what? We totally bypassed that one. That's like 101. I do apologize, guys.
No, it's great.
Yeah, you need to have a business page on Facebook, okay? And, guys, quite honestly, if you're building your business on Facebook, you definitely want to have that business page. Facebook is really putting the hammer down on personal profiles that are trying to run a business. It's against their policy to put your products up on your personal page as a business. Now, if you are like, okay, look, I always just grab random things. I have a sea salt grinder, if you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the best salt ever, and you're not saying, oh, buy my McCormick, blah, 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 Facebook is okay with it. But when you start posting over and over on your personal, especially, people can complain about that, guys. They can say, report this post. You can go into Facebook jail. So much can happen on your personal profile. So if you don't have a business page, definitely start that. And then you can freely promote your products. So that is one thing that you do have to have. And that's why I believe that it's not going to that filter, because it is a business.
Right.
And you have said, I want to know more. You're initiating that initial conversation, if you will, as a customer. So I have been testing, I've been making them, and I have not seen it go into this, filtered, because it's coming from a business. So it's huge.
That was a major, huge nugget right there. Oh my.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I think you've done pretty good with explaining what it is, but how difficult is it to set one of these up? I mean, how is that? I mean, can the person without any technology experience set this thing up?
Yes, absolutely. It's very simple to get your first messenger bot started. You can have one up and ready to go, I would say, in less than 30 minutes.
Wow.
It's very easy. Once you watch, I will caveat that with watching a tutorial or working with somebody who has experience that can walk you through. The biggest thing that I have found when I am working with a client is, what do you want to tell your audience, right? And it's basically a series of, if your customer does this, then give them this, okay? So you can build your bot so huge, because there could be a lot of questions that you're asking them. Hey, are you a first-time home buyer? Yes or no? If they click yes, okay, what square footage are you looking for? What two-story? There's so many questions that you can ask. Or you can keep it very simple and say, hey, I'd love to send you the 7 steps to every first home buyer should know before making their first purchase, right? So when you are thinking of these, you definitely want to think of, what value do I want to give my audience today? And you can go as deep or as low as you want. But creating it's very simple, and you can have it up and running very quickly, for sure. Depending on that, if you want to get very intricate, then it's going to take some time. But for a basic one, it's very simple.
So you don't need to understand any kind of coding or anything like that.
No, that's the awesome part. Yay.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yes, you know what? It's I think it's so satisfying just to know that you can give your customer a yes or a no button, right? Or even you can have some personality behind it. You can put emojis in there. I know, yeah, and you can have fun with it. You can put GIFs. You can put videos. You can put, like, I know that you have your blue-haired little girl, the little icon. She can be the personality behind the information that's being delivered. So for somebody who, like myself, is more a behind-the-scenes kind of person, I can make up a little icon that could be a little dragon. It could be a brain. It could be a pencil with glasses. It can be anything that I want it to be. It can come to life. And I can teach. I don't necessarily have to put my face in front of a camera and do that. I can deliver the value in any form or fashion that I want. And that's huge for people who don't want to get on camera just yet, or are a behind the scenes kind of person, right? What kind of personality do you want to have? I mean, maybe you do sell salt, so now you've got a little salt emoticon or something, right? You can have a lot of fun with it. So it doesn't have to be a yes or a no button. One of the examples I had was I gave a video away, and I came back the next day and I asked, have you had a chance to watch it, or no, not yet? But what I did was I put a smiley face for, did you watch it? Like, and then the other one was no, not yet. And so it was a sad face, like, oh, I haven't had time, right? And it puts out that emotion without being in front of the audience. They can feel that. Those emoticons are huge, guys. If you've got a laughing one, if you've got a heart, if you've got whatever it is that you can really convey to your audience, you can get really, really cool with it. And you don't have to know coding, for sure. It's yeah, the most you need to know is, what do you want to tell your audience, and what are you going to type out? So that's all you need to know, really.
Well, just talking with you, I would imagine, when you said the yes, no scenario, that kind of got my mind going, thinking, well, okay, if somebody asked me this, and the answer was yes, there's probably a series of things that come in my mind that I would want to ask them. And then if it was no, then of course, then there's a different series of questions, maybe less series of questions, or maybe even more, that I may want to ask them to get them to a yes, right?
Absolutely. Yes. You
Very
want
cool.
Yeah, for sure. You can see it can really like start to branch out, and you really do want to bring your user back to a yes answer, so that you can give them the value that they're looking for, or simply ask them, okay, you've landed here, because here's the reality, guys. You have put a message out on the internet world, okay? And that needs to be very clear to your audience. What are you bringing them to the Facebook Messenger for? Are you giving them a free giveaway? Are you doing a video series? Are you hosting a webinar that you would love for them to attend, and you need to bring them there to give them something, right? Always deliver what you say you are going to bring them there for, okay? So that's the first thing. If they click on that button, you know that they are in your messenger because they wanted to see what you have. You're halfway there, guys. There's nothing worse than like putting stuff out there and not really knowing if somebody wanted to know, but if they click that button, they want to know.
Right.
So that's awesome. Now, if they answer no, then that might be a series of, okay, you've come here for this, what is something else that you might be interested in? Always give value. Maybe there's something more they were looking for. Maybe they just wanted to see how it worked and they really want to work with you, but maybe it wasn't for your 7 tips for a new home buyer. Maybe they want to see what else you have to offer. Sure. So yeah, you can definitely take them down that list. And here's one thing that I really want to note. You always want to give your customer the knowledge of how to unsubscribe from the bot. Okay. Here are some key things whenever you are working with ManyChat. So it's not compliant. What I'm going to tell you isn't like compliance regulations, but as a marketer and as you mentioned earlier, making sure that you are not like being the bad marketer on this messenger bot, but you want to let your audience know that you are a bot. And that's where the personality of something else comes in, like, hey, I'm Mr. Sea Salt Shaker, and Carrie made me to deliver XYZ, okay?
Okay.
I'll introduce you to her later, but me first, right? Like you can get really personality. Like this could be a really sassy shaker, right? That sassy shaker could be his name, right? Like, yeah, Carrie built me, but I am gonna have the spotlight. We'll get to her later, right? So you can have a lot of fun with it, but you want to let your audience know that this is a bot, this is automated, and this is be delivering this value XYZ, right? So that's one thing you want to let them know. And in the first couple messages, you do want to let them know that if they ever want to unsubscribe, they can type the word stop.
Okay.
That will unsubscribe them from the bot. Okay. Now, once you've done that in your initial message, you're pretty much covered. But later, as you go along, as you're offering the value, you may want to mention that to them again because they may change
Okay.
their mind later. And guys, just embrace that. If somebody types stop, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that what you were doing was wrong. It just may mean that, they just aren't interested in that anymore, or they were just nosy. Guys, people are nosy.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So just embrace that, they were nosy for a minute, now they're not nosy anymore. And maybe they're watching you to see what you're doing, and maybe they're getting that value in a different way so they can know how to help their audience. So don't get too wrapped up in that, but definitely let them know this is how you can get out of receiving these automated messages. So that's just a couple of tips when you are creating these bots to let your audience know.
Excellent tip. I mean, that's huge, because we should show people a pathway off of a list that they don't want to be on, just as if you're sending email marketing, right? There's
Absolutely.
also unsubscribe there. Is there a way within this bot system? So they're talking to Sally Salt Shaker, right? Okay. And maybe they want to talk to Carrie. Is there a way that they can actually get to you through that system?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to remember, the Messenger bot is inside of Facebook Messenger, and it doesn't change the functionality of Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
So let's say you're taking them through a series of questions, and it's yes, no, it's very straightforward. Well, at any point in time, your customer can say, hey, Carrie, hey, Kristie, how are you doing today? Well, that is out of sequence, but it's still a message that you as a business owner are going to receive. So
Wow.
that is something saying, hey, your customer is trying to reach out to you, and you can reply, hey, Sally, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for messaging. How was your day today? What can I help you with today? So just because they don't answer the exact message in the Messenger bot, it doesn't mean that they can't still get a hold of you and you cannot communicate in that messenger. It's purely the same functionality. You're just kind of putting a bot in there over the top of it, if you will.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is. And you keep them all in the same place. I don't know how many of you actually know this, but when you have a business Facebook page, you have the ability to turn on an auto message that you can type whatever you want, but it's something that I had in the beginning that said, thank you so much for your message. I will get back to you as soon as possible. And then I would go through my messages at the end of my work day for anybody that had messaged me, because that is at least acknowledging them. It's not just leaving an empty message, right? So you're essentially doing the same thing, and then you go back and you talk in your messenger.
So that was like bot 1.0.
Right. Yes. Yes, that was.
So I think you've touched on this, but so what does it mean by bots are better than human touch? And I think you've touched on this, but maybe asking it in that way can give a concise answer in towards that. Because I see the value. I mean, I've heard about this. I've seen it a couple times, but having this discussion has just opened my mind up so much more, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad for that, for sure.
I can see, where, this is probably having better than the human touch. I'm thinking of a few things. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Let me combine the two. Guys, when you are building your messenger bot, or if you have it built for you, that is still you. That is still your words. That is still your human touch. Okay. You have put the work into it. All right. You're not copying off of somebody else. Like, this is your wording. This is your, I use a lot of LOLs and a lot of smiley faces, and I'm just super bubbly. If I were to use, this is the dry eyes for Visine, you would know that that's not me, and that is not really your human touch. But if I'm telling you jokes and I'm doing all these things, that's still my human touch. Now, where it becomes better than the human touch is because this can run 24/7 when you're sleeping, when you're taking a shower, when you're at work, at the grocery store. That is where it's just that above that human touch, because like I said, guys, our lives are busy and people want information now. So give them that information, but give it to them in your own voice. Embrace what you have. If you're there to inspire people, like, guys, here's one thing to remember. Your bot can be anything in the world you want it to be, minus what would not be appropriate on social media. But if my entire goal is to inspire you over the next 10 days and I deliver you an inspirational message, or I get on and I say, you know what, today is going to be amazing, we're going to crush today, and I give you that video and that passion, then that is still your human touch, but it is giving to them when they want it. And that is why it's just a little bit above being better than the human touch. So I hope that answers the question. It goes together. I mean,
Yeah.
your passion.
And what's coming to mind, what I keep thinking about is, I've had conversations with people all around the globe, and sometimes we have to, get up in a very early hour in the morning to connect with somebody around the world at a time that is, works for them as well. Sometimes, we're up at, 4 a.m. It's 7 o'clock in the evening for them. And I believe what we're talking about here closes that gap and creates that human touch, as you're saying, as if, we're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. That people are up at all different hours of the day. One thing to remember too, guys, there's going to become a point potentially in your business where it's now time to step away from the bot, because you need to have that one-on-one, right? So let's say, for example, if I'm going to tell you the top 3 reasons you should have a messenger bot, or here's your first 3 steps in starting your own messenger bot, but I end that sequence with work with me, then guys, that's where the bot has got to stop and you have to come on, because now you have to have that one-on-one. Okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Do you want to sell something? Do you only want value? So if I am performing this service for you, if you're hiring me, then after I give you that value, I've got to come on face to face, and then that bot kind of goes away. It's purely giving them exactly what they need right now, giving them the opportunity to work with you or buy something. I mean, you can give them the link to go to your realtor, your health and wellness, your makeup, any kind of business, and they can go get the product that you showed them how to use. But at some point in time, you are going to need that one-on-one with them. So don't rely on it like, oh, I never have to talk to these people again. Really embrace that this is just the first step to actually get them over and to see the value that you can give them. Because let's face it, guys, even if you do Facebook Lives every day, people have the option to unfollow you. They don't have to see what you're giving every day. So if you can pull them in from Twitter or from your website or over from Instagram or a YouTube video, if you can pull them there, those open rates are going to be huge. And now you have a new way versus just on Facebook. So keep that in mind, that it's going to come to a point potentially where you need to have that one-on-one. So it's not the saw, or what is it, be all, end all.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Wow, this is awesome. I mean, oh my gosh.
So you can do so much. And I think, guys,
my notes I'm taking.
I love it. And, guys, let me tell you, don't let that be the big O word of overwhelm.
Right, right.
As an entrepreneur, all you need to think is, what value do I want to give my audience today? And pretend that you are talking to them. If I don't know. I mean, see, I've got lip gloss, I've got salt. I mean, let's go with the salt example. If you're at the grocery store, are you picking out sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, Morton salt? Like, think just from your customer, what would I ask next? Well, how do I know which one to choose? Okay. And then just Stay in your area. You are excited because you started this business and that's the value you want to give. So don't get overwhelmed. They agree, right?
Yes, they agree.
Don't get overwhelmed with, oh, I have to make these buttons and I have to this, and this. Just think of the value that you want to give your audience.
That's great.
Mm,
That is really, really cool.
yeah.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much. I mean, you've enlightened me, and I'm sure you've enlightened our audience on what's possible. And um, anything else you'd like to add before we close out our conversation today?
Yeah, guys, if this is something that, really interests you, but you have no clue how to even get started, I mean, I would love to help you in any form of fashion, whether it's teaching you how to use it or it's actually building it for you. My goal is to introduce you to something new that will open up your customer audience, will get more visibility on your products, and just give you the stress-free knowledge that my message, your message, will be communicated to them and that you don't even have to worry about it. Like, if that's something that is just it's way up here, like, I definitely want to offer that option to you all, because that's what I do in my full-time job. And I think that's why I've picked this up and enjoy it so much, because if you look at a business world and a developer world, they can't speak the same language, right? So you need that person that goes in between that can help you get your message out there. So find someone who can do that for you so that you can just remain passionate in the field that you have chosen to become an entrepreneur in. Your job is to tell everybody about the latest lipstick or what have you. Like, that's your passion, right? Maybe building this isn't. So remember that when you are searching potentially to hire somebody, their job is to take that stress off of you so that you can just remain passionate. And I think that's why I really do enjoy this, is that I want you to be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I didn't have to do anything.
Yes.
I just said, just twist the salt shaker or whatever it is, right? So remember that, guys. Don't overwhelm yourself with it. There are a lot of resources out there. Do your homework. Try to do it yourself. If you're techie, it's not even really techie, but if you want to take that on, if you have some time, you want to dabble with it, go for it. You can't break anything. And, get a friend to test. That is a big one. Get a friend to test it. Ask them, hey, would you mind testing this out for me? Did it work? Did you get what you expected? Do you have any suggestions? I know I've reached out to you, Kristie. Hey, can you test this for me? And, just get the feedback from people.
And it was very good, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It was so. She is very, very good.
Thank you.
I've asked her to come on and share this with you because she does bring in the fun and the humor as part of this. And I picked that up in the series that she sent me, and that was just when you were starting out on this. So I know that you've gotten much more advanced with it. So,
yes.
Very
Thank you. Yeah, have fun with it, guys. One of the biggest things I'm learning this year is embrace yourself. If you are fun, don't let social media bring you down and think that you have to be in this box, guys. Kristie's got blue hair, for crying out loud. It's what she wanted to do. It's beautiful. She's like, this is me. Her emoticon is blue hair. Embrace yourselves, guys, and put yourself into there, because that's who you're going to attract. And it will be fun to work with those people. If you try to take on something or put yourself in a box that really isn't you, that's who you're going to attract. And then you're going to feel awful doing this entrepreneurship, and that is not why we get into it. So guys, remember that. Just embrace yourself, for sure.
That's a really good point. Now, you had mentioned that you would be interested in helping folks that need help. So how do people get a hold of you, Carrie?
You know, you can find me on Facebook. I am Carrie Bannigan. I'm certain that Kristie will have our names in the description or in the title. So
Yes.
come on over, friend me, send me a message. My business page is also Carrie Bannigan. And so if you just search Carrie Bannigan by pages, you can find my business page as well. And just send me a message, you know, let me know, hey, I saw this interview and what can you do for me? And I would love to have that chat with you and see what we can build for you. I'm really excited with this, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun for me to build for other people. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity, Kristie, to share with other people on how they can get a hold of me.
Oh, you bet. Well, thank you for sharing this with my audience too, because I know that they need this service. So anyway, folks, and Carrie, thank you so much for being here. I'm very grateful to you for sharing, you know, taking your time out. And we're recording this on a early Saturday morning, and I'm just so appreciative to you for coming out here and taking a little bit of your day and sharing it with me and our audience.
Oh, you know what? You honor me. When you asked me, I was like, me? Yeah, sure. You know, it's awesome. I love what you're doing for everybody. I mean, just this showcasing what other people can do. It's amazing, and I am super honored to be here sharing the stage with you. Oh my gosh! Awesome. Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. So, folks, that was Carrie Bannigan, and I'll have the information on how to reach Carrie up in the description, and it will be highlighted, so all you have to do is click on it and you'll be able to get to her. Carrie, again, thank you so much, and then I'll be seeing you offline.
Yes, yes. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.